Okay, this one is off in the distance. There's a completely silent plane coming up over me at this time. It's went behind some trees. Let me tell you what colors it is. I just see white and red, white and red. Completely silent, no sound. And that's typical. I've seen probably 10 of these tonight. They make no sound and they just kind of come over and check me out. It feels that way. They're always coming right over my vicinity. I've seen a couple actually go right over my house this evening. You may say something like, well, that's, to be expected. It's really not. Like, out of the last year or so that I've been observing all of this, I'd see air traffic, but nothing close to like what I'm seeing now. And it always made noise beforehand. And in fact, there were some nights where I would be filming out here with you guys, and we would hear the sound of the plane. This guy's quite active. It was tricky getting this in frame. While you're watching that, I'm just looking to see where the plane goes. Anyway, tonight is not quite as spooky of a night for me because it's the moon is high and very bright behind me, so I'm getting kind of a very good view of everything. I mean, I can see around me if I take still photographs. It's good because it gives you guys a frame of reference too. After I'm done recording this guy, we'll take some stills of him to show you all the colors that are going on there, because there's quite a few. One moment. You guys go keep watching. Interesting. Let me get this centered, or okay, it's better. Wow, I mean, to the naked eye, this guy is... As a matter of fact, I think that this might be the one that I saw zigging and zagging that one night. It's in the same kind of vicinity, although it's not nearly the same time. Right now it's about 1, maybe 1:30 at latest. On August 2nd, 2012. It's just interesting. I've watched this guy move quite a distance over the tree line over there. It's flickering like crazy. And to the naked eye, I'm seeing all kinds of colors. But there's him, and then there's actually three other kind of obvious ones. One to my left, one behind me. Hopefully when that other one behind me gets below the tree line, which is obstructing it, we can see it better. And then there's one right off to my right, very far out. And then there's a bunch of stars, too. But, let me adjust this real quick. Okay, that's good, because I want to look at this guy behind me. What's interesting is before I started recording, I saw a plane down that area. It caught my eye and I wondered what it was doing. This was actually, I had to go in and delete a bunch of videos, well, move them, videos and photos from the camera because I had almost no record time. I missed out on some decent footage, nothing really mind-blowing, but basically the one behind me, which is now, I mean, it's really low now. Huh. I don't know what these are for. I wish I knew what they were for, what they were about. They're not stars. They're just not stars. Look at them. Especially the ones that are low on the horizon. Because when I take the photographs of this, it'll show you where it's at on the horizon. And it is low. There's trees higher than it. So I don't know how far off this thing is. I never do know. They always seem like they're quite close, actually. Or not that far away, at least. See if we can go any further in. No. That's it. Look at that. Look at those colors. So I'll film this for about another minute. Because he's not really doing much. Except kind of moving around a bit. Yeah, watch that. Watch carefully. So if anyone has any ideas on what this is, please let me know in the comments section. I'm open to just about anything. I'd actually be kind of comforted to know that it's something terrestrial. At the same time, that'd be a little bit spooky too, because then I'm like, well, why are our people out here all the time, flying over my home and hanging out in the distance, you know? So either option's kind of a little bit creepy when I put too much time thinking about it. Look a little bit harder. This guy again was just a real hard one to get in the camera even, but to the naked eye, obvious as anything. This is one of the most obvious UFOs that I ever see. I mean, as far as brightness and just lights and all that. probably hear some dogs out in the distance. Who knows, maybe they're seeing them too and saying, what in the hell is going on out here? I don't know. I like to think, though, that I'm not the only person looking up and seeing these things. I do think that I'm probably the first out here in Brown County to start filming them, because I've looked and looked and looked. But I'm hoping that more people from Brown County, Ohio, will start looking out to the night sky and pointing their cameras up and capturing some of this that I am. Because it's pretty easy. Once you know what to look for, it's really actually quite easy. I'm surprised that I've not seen another plane for a while here. Usually I see a silent plane go over. Then again, there have been some nights when I've been out here when I've seen, there was one night where I saw two planes within, I'd say, 5 minutes of each other. And they were the flashing red light ones, again, silent. And both of them, I would look at them, and then I'd look back in the camera again, because I'd be filming. And then I'd look back up again. And they were in different sections of the sky at different times, but then they were gone. Just gone. And there was no, like, it wasn't like there were any trees nearby or anything where they could have just kind of disappeared behind. It was just like 1 second it's there, 1 second it's not, or at least lights out, you know? And that spooks me. I mean, there was one evening when I was sitting out, this was before I ever even started filming, and I was sitting out on my front porch, and I'm looking out across the field, and over the tree line I see, at least, you know, in my memory, it seemed like the tree line. It seemed low, and quite large, actually, and it was blinking like red and white, green. Let me see, did I lose it? No. It was blinking like red and white and green, and silent. That was the eeriest thing, because at that time, usually anytime I'd see a plane out here, you'd hear it. I mean, you'd hear it going overhead, or you'd at least hear it in the distance. Anyway, I'm staring at it, and all of a sudden, boom. This is like 3 in the morning. Lights out. Lights out, completely gone. Now again, I don't think it was gone. I think it just went lights out. It was kind of like, I was smoking still at that time, so I was out having a cigarette actually. And I don't think that they expected, maybe they picked up some sort of heat signature. I have no clue. But I don't think I was supposed to be out there observing it. And so it went silent, and I just kind of sat there and kind of let my eyes kind of follow where I would have thought that it would have gone. And within a couple of minutes, I figured it should be right above me. I'm not seeing anything, I'm not hearing anything, but I'm, you know, the hair on my skin is just standing up, because I don't know what's going on. For anyone who's interested, who's asking, you know, are there any military bases nearby? Well, there is Fort Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. That's in Dayton, Ohio, which is about 2.5 hours east of here. West of here. Yeah. And that's, you know, a good 200 miles. A little bit more. So, you know, for some aircraft, that's a hop, skip, and a jump away. I mean, that's not far at all. So I'm open to this being some sort of experimental craft, right? And maybe on that note, I'm not supposed to be filming it. Then again, it's not like my footage is that great. I'm not getting great captures of these things. I wish I could get in further and kind of get some detail, but they never seem to be close enough for that. What is that sound? Alright, that's quite a bit of movement. It's interesting. I'm looking at the rest of the night sky, especially up towards the moon area, which is to my back. And it actually looks kind of hazy. I'll be the first to admit I was never used to looking at the sky. As a kid, I was fascinated. I mean, I'll be honest, I've been fascinated by the idea of UFOs from the moment I first heard of them, since childhood. My parents tell me that I wanted to wallpaper my room like the universe, so that it was, planets and stars and stuff like that. And I remember as a child, too, thinking sometimes, like, how it would be kind of cool to get abducted. Kids have a better sense of adventure than adults, I think. I mean, because the world was kind of innocent then, and there was not anything. I didn't suspect that anything weird could happen. Also, it's just kind of a little bit nutty. But as a kid, you can give someone a pass for kind of thinking that way. Anyway, I've told people in my other videos, but I'm uploading so many that I might as well start telling some of these stories again. I saw my first UFO when I was about 13 years old. I was at my friend Mike's house, and we were in his front yard spraying each other with a hose. And for some reason, my eyes were drawn to this little just white dot in the blue sky. I mean, there was blue sky, there were clouds out. But for some reason, my eyes stopped on this thing. And it was a pretty good distance away. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, okay, that's a bird flying around or anything. I can say that and be confident in that after all these years. And just as I was about to tell Michael, it just darted across the sky just as quickly as I can move my finger, just sort of across the sky. That's how quickly it was. I mean, it was just like, kind of like a blur, and just go. I mean, it just went right behind a blind spot of trees, and that was it. And I thought about telling Mike, and then I kind of decided not to, because I thought, he's probably not going to believe me. It's kind of weird. I wasn't always the most trustworthy kid anyway. I had a lot of problems with grades and behavior and all that stuff. So, Jesus, look at that. Look how quick that motherfucker's moving. Yeah. And like I said, if this is similar to the one that I saw one evening, I came out here at like 4 a.m. one night. Although the one that I saw was more like kind of just like a bright orange. But it was like zigging and zagging across this one area of the sky where, I mean, it was like if you could do like the letter Z, that's what it was doing over and over again almost, and very rapidly. And I was like, it was freaking me out. And I watched that for about 2-3 minutes, and then it sort of stopped, and it started looking like this again, similar to this. Again, at the distance that it was, it looked orange. I mean, but it was sitting there. Look at that. Okay. I'm not nuts, guys. See, I'm seeing this thing move in different directions. Let me get this. Now I'm hearing somebody walking around nearby. Anyway, so you can clearly see that this is moving around out here. Yeah. This is probably closer than they usually get, actually. This is pretty close. And this thing is pulsating red, at least. We'll take some still photographs and we'll probably see green and blue as well, like we usually do, and white. And if this were, you know, if this is like a helicopter, move along. You're going to run out of gas, you're going to crash. It just doesn't make sense. Why would they have a helicopter just hanging out there? A drone? Maybe. I don't know. I really don't know what a drone looks like. I don't know if drones are lit up. I don't think they are. Especially not ones that are trying to do surveillance or general surveillance. The whole point, because they're silent, is to be undetectable. And if they were lit up, that would kind of defeat the purpose now, wouldn't it? But my theory on these is if it is, let's just theorize and say this is extraterrestrial. A lot of people always argue that, well, let's just put aside the fact that people argue, well, why would they be coming to see us? Like, you know, we're not that special. Let's put that aside for a moment and let's just say that they did come. I've heard some people say sometimes, well, if they're that advanced, why would they have lights? Why would they be lit up? And my thinking is, number one, you don't know. Just because somebody is advanced doesn't mean that they don't have some limitations. It's like, you know, it's kind of like saying, why does an iPod light up? Well, that's because that's the nature of an iPod. You have to have it light up in order to see and all those kind of things. But also it's possible that this is a reaction to the Earth's atmosphere. I'm just making a kind of guess here, but I mean, you know, it's possible that this is reacting to the gases in our environment and giving off a light that it can't help but do. So those are two possibilities. Also, why would they come here to observe us? Well, I mean, isn't that what we would do? If we sent probes out and we found life on Mars, you think we're not going to continue observing that? You bet we will. Now, my bet is that these are not manned. I bet you anything that these are not manned. They're probably probes. I don't know what else to call them. Whoa. Oh, I just saw a really bright yellow light come down right in front of me in the field. There are no fireflies, no nothing. It didn't flash again. I've seen this before on other nights. I've also seen one go up in the trees. I don't get it. I don't know. They must not have anything better to do with their time than to come down on the street filming. Oh. So, I'll never get it. You know? It just becomes so kind of surreal over time. And a little spooky, you know? It's spooky to see these things. But I like to think that maybe, you know, just maybe, they're malevolent and they're not here to, or whatever it is, I'm going to be okay in all this. That said, I probably should never have started filming it, because that never turns out well. Especially not when you're doing it over and over again. It's kind of like asking for trouble, probably. Yeah, I see you, okay? I see you flying over me now. Saw the yellow light over me again. This time over me. And this other one over here is low. It is low. But we got about 1 minute and 1 minute and 15 seconds left to record. And then I'll take some still shots of this thing to see, just to see what it is we're looking at. At least try to get a little bit better perspective. I know we're going to come up with a bunch of different colors, just because I'm seeing them right now with, you know, my naked eye, just pulsating. Look at that. I just saw it again. Corner of my eye. Again, no fireflies in the... I mean, it's a huge field. And this thing came down and swooped right in front of me. Why do they... That's what I don't get. Why would they need to do that? Excuse me. Couldn't you just, you know, come down without turning a light on in front of me? Unless, again, you know, it's part of the whole red plane thing's going over too, is